for Dan Botwe, yes, eba NPP amanyokoni odimu akutini ya nkasante ayete ni se neno eyo ni munyam for Dan Botwe etimi edna kudie nyina atofo mo se wa resign edi a free NPP amanyokono edi mande ne bebre na edi free NPP amanyokono wo mu crucial time aka mekuma bi ni akwakoto aba obeka se NPP de ade sa yeda sori de ensem ne de dodo na ana echegu ewa abefo ntintan fidikesi su de be na aba na se de na si amasansem we ekoso ne matena si de na eye mo kwed asona ka ehire adwakromo mebedo su komo nsem ne bi Kennedy Japan kompre ko ni di abamu eye Dr. Matthew Opoku prempe su di ene NIB fo di abamu ni na no matena si mebeso ne so e di amana so hu de eko ene dia eba koso like your page share leave you comment and subscribe fresh gossip GH medical ka say news update echegu ewa abefo ntintan fidikesi su a efa ya mano efa eye ya manyo semo de ene eno ana mede beba besomo ewo afidikesi su abusuafo ene de ensema etrendi ewo social media ne say yenu munyam for Dan Botwe a Bawumia ne campaign team ma wodi mu akutini yankase ne no ono ababonten ababesina ntuo akase ne de tintontan one NPP for ton kwanta o ma pai wa resign e a free NPP amanyoko no enso ha or resign no ana ye investigative journalist yes the prodigal son of honorable Kennedy Japan compre komichema kwaku anan ababonten ababetu nanum tuo a reveal and as well exposing nyama property akoso NPP amanyoko no meneno anamso ema ya de nyina dankwaku Botwe a sabio odi akutini epa ewo NPP amanyoko ni Bawumia campaign team no so wo resign ni nsema waka ina ne say ono de wo say kamia kwa say Bawumia enkrofo ma surround na sabio wo de omokoko den aye campaign chenchereche e de apre nkunim de NPP amanyoko ni nyame ya doma 7 December abato e babeto sabio omokasa ni sabio mo ne bi omudan na di no ono Dan Botwe entimi ene ne ntali enti hu hia se sabio beka ho ne omo aye campaign so ana ye running mate nsama e yodi monyamfo andi apia kubi awe mrehye bedwani in the name of NPP take it Washante region Asante Achem no for no ne nsem bi obeka say eye na pokra sabio on deserve onye the rightful choice na enso apie ewo kwaku anan ne nsem a wo ka de anam so Dan Botwe aresign de free NPP amanyoko ni manase wa resign de free Bawumia ne campaign team no was say NIB sabi omo report omo de babonti na ehire say ye honorable Kennedy Japan compre ko ananka adru ne so say Bawumia be yin as ne running mate no ne nakoko den nenso mamu ni ya pa Kennedy Japan compre ko de wo se kiane ke wontimi enye running mate emfa ma Bawumia na enkrofo do na so din ane ba ye ema NIB de report ba ye papa Kennedy kra twesan ye say wonye running mate emfa ma eye odemonyamfo Bawumia no na atali asa akoni pa foforo din so na enye napo nenso he report ne ye bayi ne niam bi ebo social media so hu se no kweka bi enkoso ewo NPP amanyoko ni titu ene Bawumia na kache ho ensa ne de dodo na anene no kwaku anan the investigative journalist after say beto dwa said Dan Botwe resign from Bawumia campaign team no ode ababeto dwa yenkoti ensam ne bi enfan free eye kwaku anan eho emrasisi.
I am aware that some parliamentarians and leading party members have reacted as well. I understand Honorable Dan Botwe has also resigned as the chairman of the campaign committee. And it only tells you that things have not been properly done by the flag bearer and the people who advise him. When it comes to Honorable Dan Botwe, I am very much aware that he accepted the role to be the campaign team hesitantly because for what I know, he does not like the way things are going on around the flag bearer. He is not happy with the kind of people the flag bearer seek advice from and how decisions are taken around him. So he, for what I have gathered, have already warned the flag bearer about the consequence of surrounding himself with the kind of people he does, and kind of warn him that if he would accept the position, it means he would have to, the flag bearer would have to do away with some of these advisors who, according to him, does not help the campaign process, and which was how he came on board as a member of the campaign team. Sorry, excuse me. So, subsequent to that, a lot had happened. It appears that the flag bearers still take certain decisions. I mean, decisions from some of the people that like the likes of that Honorable Botwe, think are not equipped with the necessary experience and the emotional control to take those decisions.
Great, David. So, David, let's zero down. Let's put the spotlight on the nominee now, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. MPP Vona Meati says, "Womo pe Santinio, NSC ano, womo kwe Santinio Opoku Prempeh." And what is all about this? He went crying this annual. Who is saying?
Well, let me say that. I mean, the issue about the tribal affiliation or origin of Dr. Opoku Prempeh does not necessarily come in if it were just a general selection that was being done. For what you have gathered, you are aware that indeed a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, the national security had was supposedly conducted some research.
That's the NIP report, correct?
Yes, they conducted a research about before this research was done in February early this year. There was an earlier research done, which covered a sample size of 200,000. This 200,000 covered members of the party who were selected randomly, some executive members, and all that. So this was also to determine, to scientifically select who is best fit for the running mate position. And in that survey, it turns out that Honorable Kennedy Exp0se was the most favored for the job. And you recall that in the aftermath of the primaries, the presidential primaries, there has been a very cold relationship between the flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia, and the Honorable Kennedy Exp0se.
Correct.
And this relationship has been generated into a situation where the Honorable Kennedy Exp0se said that he was not going to campaign for the flag bearer, except someone else. Matthew Opoku Prempeh emerged as a running mate.
Correct.
When it turned out that, so when they calculated it, they realized that with him emerging as the preferred running mate of the majority of the party members who were interviewed or were sampled, there was a need to bring him on the campaign. But he was never going to be as a running mate because of some of the utterances he made during the
flag bearership race. Correct. Okay.
But then the survey then requires that they bring him closer to the campaign, and indeed they did brought him closer to the campaign. You recall when you met the flag bearer in Kumasi during one of the campaign visits by the flag bearer to Swami.
Yeah.
And so the idea was to just bring him closer and to make it look like there is, if iron out their differences. And then they would then drop the name of the candidate that he had said he would prefer. but time has passed. He has realized that he's even more popular than the so-called candidates who he said he would prefer to be the running mate. And the way the report was leaked, the national security report was leaked, also became a concern to many people in the party. In fact, the second resurvey that was done, they narrowed down the candidates to only Ashanti region, those who have affiliates in the Ashanti, who are Ashanti region, who originate from the Ashanti region. So it was limited to Napo, the chief of staff, who Madame Prima Opari. It's also Educhum, the Honorable Minister for Education.
So, are you suggesting that this document, the NIB report, was leaked to these top people earlier before it got to the press, or another one?
No, I'm saying that this report that got leaked is a product of the second survey, which was limited only to these 5 people who came from Ashanti region.
I see.
Or others who came. It was limited to candidates from Ashanti region.
Yeah.
As opposed to what was done in the earlier survey, which was a nationwide survey to scout who is more favorable to partner Dr. Bawumia. Hey. The earlier one was conducted with general candidacy of the party. So, for instance, you had a candidate Japan, any other person who could emerge as the running mate, and that was what the party people voted for candidate Japan as their most favorite. So when another report is done of 5,000 respondents, and it's saying that it's Matthew Opoku Prempeh, it is very deceptive to tell the public that the most favored candidate is Dr. Opoku Prempeh and not Kennedy Ejapong. So that is the deception about, the consultation done, the supposed consultation done by the flag bearer.
I see.
Because, the party people are very, very important in this decision making. If that is what they are trying to project, then Kennedy Ejapong should have been named as the running mate.
I see. So
not Dr. Opoku Prempeh.
Great. So if I hear you right, David, does all these rendezvous pretty much suggest that the report somehow was skewed towards, as it were, to project Matthew Opoku Prempeh to some extent? Can you give us that sense of that?
Exactly so. It appears that the report was purposed to have Dr. Opoku Prempeh as the running mate. And it's also, this can be explained by how the report got leaked just a day after, the survey was conducted. And, this survey is usually done at the expense of the president.
Yeah.
The president, is the one who orders the national security to brief it on some of these issues. And so when these surveys are done by the NIB, National Investigation Bureau, it is usually between the director of the bureau and the coordinator of national security and the presidency. So these 3 institutions are the only one who are allowed to see this report. So where it got leaked, it only be from one of these sources. Now, if you look at it, if this report is done, if the report is submitted by the coordinator to the presidency, it can only be given to the chief of staff.
Exactly.
And that is where the chief of staff didn't perform very well in that report. And so he could not necessarily be the one to leak this report. It definitely would have been leaked at the level of the national security. And, for what interest, your guess is mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah.
Great one. Now, David, for the purposes of what you and I are in as students of security and intelligence, can we share this with our listeners and viewers, and more to that of the software that the intelligence reports sometimes they use to write such reports for the purposes of avoiding leakages and all of that, and then it becomes more covert to one or two persons, and so it helps in the traces of where it may come in from. What particular software that was adopted in putting some of this report that is difficult for somebody to trace?
I think that.
Can we share?
What's the name? The technicalities of where it's leaked for, leaked from, may not be necessary for in this particular discussion. But I mean, if you have to know, some of these reports in the past were done manually by the security operatives who are dispatched by their authorities.
Great.
And this usually, when this is done, you know, the national security is a very secretive organization.
Exactly.
And so these things are kept, you know, under wrap and to only the destination that is supposed to go. So, but I think that with the help of modernity, it looks like they use different apps as well to collect these results, and that is what has been done. I am aware that the method used for the collection, there is no way. I mean, this report would have leaked before it is collected into a report. The survey wouldn't have been leaked until it's collected into a report.
Exactly.
Because the report is done at the very epic of the national security. The survey conducted by the operatives are only done by different operatives, and they could not even know what is contained in the final report.
Exactly.
So if they couldn't have leaked it, it would only have been leaked at the top, or if it is given to the presidency.
I see.
So it tells you that there is a motive by whoever leaked the report to just have a certain representation of it, and this is what is causing a whole lot of problems for Dr. Opoku Prempeh, the flag bearer, because the people do not accept, you know, the outcome. If you have opted for scientific research, it is important that you keep to the standard. And it looks like this time around, they have not kept to the standard. The standard is that if you do a research and the majority of the people opt for a particular.
For some way be an enano a trendy, a war abafont in the case so as soon as I catch a joke mafa a day ababesomo. It's all about trending stories are aiding in social media and so. Cause I like your page, share if you comment is and say a bam your same papa, dear enkans will air cruddy a chegu, a wabafont in the case so a far edibesomo. My husband of this mean macra.
Eba enchensing papa de bodan so padia eno ane adabo roofings enraste resist heat anafe ensan feeding so na ni premium color materials o de bodan so nti oma warranty mo arishemu se wo pe adabo roofings wo kumase ne mpatamu a fo ani kire ehwa overseas junction wo enkran ene ne mpatamu so odi wani be kire Pokuasi station wa na ni main factory de wo fancy a eben mupa Fre Adabof nani wo mu ni dwa esan se fa enchensen papa de bodan so paade a wo mu ni kenkon obiara ni ho